Hey guys, back again with the Captain's Log and our favorite guest always, my partner in crime, Dr. Daller. Today we're going to talk everything you need to know about having an orgasm.
Yes.
And what happens during an orgasm. I want to know it all.
Absolutely, Captain Brian. Great topic.
This is the big O, Doc.
Oh,
the
my
big
God.
O.
Oh, huge topic. I mean, one, because it was taboo, especially for women.
Yeah.
But now it's open, and we want to talk about men and women. I mean, female and male orgasm. We want to talk about the potential health benefits of an orgasm.
Yeah.
We all know that it's good for us, but are there any studies to support that it's good for you? I want to talk a little bit about the brain, what happens during an orgasm to your body, to your brain. We'll talk about stages of orgasm for men and women. We'll talk a little bit more about women, how they can achieve an orgasm. Captain Brian, did you know that 10% of women never had an orgasm in their life?
Seriously?
10% of women never ever had an orgasm. So we are going to talk.
What is that? What's the reasoning for that?
Yeah, so the reasoning for that is one, it could be that you don't know your body very well, you don't experiment enough. Number two, some of them have psychological barriers that
it's a block,
trauma or block or anything like that. Yes, so we'll talk about that. So we are going to talk also, Captain Brian. I want to start with that.
But I have a question.
Yes.
You said that 10% have never.
Yes.
Is that same percentage? How many of that 10% actually physically can't? Is that a thing or no? Is there such a thing where they can't?
You know, Captain Brian, so there are certain countries that mutilate clitoris.
I've seen that, right?
So that's horrific. So assuming that we are not talking about those
on a Netflix
horrible conditions. So assuming that we're not talking about that. So, I believe that an orgasm is like you train your body for anything.
Yeah.
I talk about men, I talk about women. You have to train. You are LeBron James. You're telling me, you know what, I want to practice. You have to practice. You have to get better and better. The more you have...
That's what I try to tell them, ladies. I keep telling them
I know that has been your line for a long time.
I say we have to make sure
So you are telling me, you know what, I want to learn how to play basketball. I don't know how to play basketball. Can you teach me? Yes, you can learn how to play basketball. Anybody can learn. Maybe you are not going to be LeBron James.
Correct.
But you are going to be a good player.
Yeah.
If you practice enough. So it's all learned habits. So you know what I want to start with, Captain Brian? Something that I saw that was interesting. A lot of people ask me, what do you think right after you have sex? What guys think right immediately, the moment you ejaculate?
After?
What do you think? Yes, and I asked on Facebook a bunch of people, and they replied, and a bunch of my friends, and I want to hear from you first of all. What's the first thing you think about when you right away, right after, 2 seconds after? What's the most common thing that I got to reply?
Food.
Okay, that's one of them. It's not the most common. The most common thing is that I'm tired. A lot of people say, you know what, I feel like I got a giant dose of NyQuil into my vein and I'm exhausted. I'm tired.
But there's a reason for that, right?
Yeah, of course, there's physiological reason for that. We'll talk a little bit about it later on, but you're talking about hormones, serotonin, dopamine that are going up, and serotonin at the end, after you ejaculate, you have increased serotonin, and you feel satisfied and you feel tired.
Yeah.
Also, there is something called the parasympathetic nervous system is kicking in, and it slows down everything. Before that, you had the sympathetic nervous system, you had high excitement, you have your heart rate going up, your blood pressure going up, women get their chest and their neck red, and after that you have that relaxation.
What about like when they have more than one?
Women
have
more than one,
yes.
Of course, and we'll talk about that further, that women can have more than one. Men, we have difficulty and have more than one right away. We have a refractory period, a period that you can really, you feel like you gave it all. That's one thing that
I try.
When I asked people, they said that was definitely all the semen in my body. You feel like I gave it all. And obviously we know that was not all the semen in your body, because 15 minutes later or an hour and a half later, you have more semen, you're making more semen.
Right.
Remember, it's like the sperm that you're putting in is only less than 5% of the amount of ejaculate that you're putting out.
Right.
So you feel like, you know what? So the second most common thing that guy told me, they said that was definitely all the semen in my body. And you feel like
got it all out in one shot.
Fire sale on ejaculate, and you put it all out.
That's true. That's true.
So the third thing that a lot of people told me, I feel like my face looks extra weird this time around. You know how you put like your face and your mouth, everything.
Like you made a weird face during.
Weird face during. And you know, we cannot control that face. So while you have an orgasm, you are completely not in control. So the fourth thing was I'm hungry, as Captain Brian says. And another common thing people told me that my girlfriend or my wife is talking, but I can't focus on anything she's saying.
Right,
you know
you can hardly hear.
You can,
but isn't that true? Doesn't that affect your hearing?
It's not just affect you, it affects your ability to focus and concentrate. So right now you are in high ecstasy. You have a high, and you cannot focus on anything important for about, I always tell women, for 15 minutes, don't tell me anything important for the next 15 minutes, because it's not going to...
How many women do you tell?
No, just one.
Oh, okay. I was like, wow, Doc, all right.
Just
tell
one.
them all at
Just
the same
my
time.
wife.
Ladies, listen. Okay.
Another thing that people say, I'm very content, I'm very happy. And again, this has to do with serotonin, it has to do with dopamine. So even though the whole ejaculate, for men, how long do you think the whole ejaculation takes, the whole orgasm takes? About, in seconds.
Let me guess. 6 to 9 seconds.
A little bit longer, about 15 seconds. 11 to 15 seconds, a little bit longer. Women takes about 30 to 50 seconds to have an orgasm.
God bless.
So it's much. So even though it was only 15 seconds, we feel like, wow, we are so happy with that.
Right.
Another thing that people say, I have to go to the bathroom, I have to pee.
Yeah.
A lot of people who have to go to pee right now.
Right after?
Right after.
Right.
Right after. You feel like you really need to pee.
How are you supposed to pee right after?
Well, for women, we talk about
better,
for women,
right?
It's better because they feel like you're going to get less urinary tract infection.
Right.
Even though there are no good studies to support that,
really
but it doesn't really work. But we always say that empty your bladder before and after.
Okay.
Also for men, I recommend emptying the bladder before intercourse. The last thing people ask me, after sex, I'm talking to my penis. I feel like he's my friend. I'm talking to him.
Your buddy.
You know, my buddy. I look in the mirror. I say, "Good job, buddy. You gave it all. Strong work.
You did good. You
did good. You did good. You performed. Good man. Good man." So, and we all talk to our penises as if it was a human being with emotions and everything else.
Right.
And we are number one cheerleaders in most cases. So
big fan.
Big fan. So let's talk, Captain Brian, about some of the health benefits. Let's talk about men first. What's the health benefits of having an orgasm?
I have a question.
Please.
It popped in my mind, and I know that I'm interrupting. A headache, so I don't want to have sex. On the other hand, sometimes doesn't the headache doesn't the sex make the headache go away?
So is sex and orgasm overall good for your head, for your brain, for your body, for both men and women? Absolutely. It's good for your emotion, it's good for bonding, it's good for a relationship, there is no bad thing that happens. You know, if you are having sex with somebody that you like, there's somebody that you enjoy, if you're enjoying the sex, that's all good.
Right.
The intimacy is extremely important. So why do women sometimes say I have a headache? You know, because I
said, good, we'll get rid of it. Here we go.
We really have to get to the bottom of the root cause of what. Sometimes they have headaches because they have pain during intercourse and they're trying to avoid that. Sometimes they have a headache because, you know, they have a lot on their mind and
it's really more stress.
It's a lot of stress. No, sometimes they have difficulty achieving an orgasm, and we put stress on them. The orgasm for women is much more complex than an orgasm for men, and they are under stress because of that. So as guy, we have to understand. Let's talk again about the health benefits for men. So there is a huge study, 29,000, Harvard Medical School involved with that, 29,000 men. They show that if you ejaculate more than 21 times a month, which for you is nothing, of course, Captain Brian.
I thought you were going to say a day. So this is a lot, though. It's a lot. Here we go.
You know, in the heydays, you used to do that. In the heydays, you know.
I'm a little older now,
right,
Doc.
but now it's if you have 20 a day, that's fine. 21 times a month.
That's too much, yeah.
If you ejaculate more than 25, men that ejaculate 21 times or more a month, they had 33% lower risk of prostate cancer compared to men that ejaculated 4 to 7 times a month.
Yeah.
So if you ejaculate, so you know, cleaning
Tell
the
them
pipe.
they're fixing they're fixing it. They're helping us out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, right. That's you need a note from the doctor. Come to
That's
me.
right.
I'll give you a note from the doctor. Extremely important. So in theory, the theory behind it, we don't understand why it's not a cause and effect. It's just observation. In theory, we know that if you clear all these toxins, it's going to be better for you. We also think that, you know, intimacy is good for you and having a sexual relationship is good for you. And we know that men that have a sexual relationship and have intimacy and have a spouse or have a girlfriend, they live longer. And men live longer in those conditions. So it's extremely important.
Ladies, keep your man happy. He lives longer. There you go.
If you want him to live longer,
yeah,
if you
that's
want
right.
him to die quickly and fast, you know, don't have sex
have
with
to
him.
deprive him
Kaput.
from the booty,
It's
yeah.
gone. It's gone. So what kind of hormones your body releases during sexual intercourse? So there is an hormone called oxytocin. It's released by the pituitary gland. It's the hormone that makes you feel like bonding. Women, after they have an orgasm, they still release oxytocin. That's why they like to cuddle.
Cuddle.
We don't like to cuddle.
Yeah.
But women like to cuddle because, and again, it's physiological. There's a hormone there. Men and women release a hormone called DHEA as well as endorphin. You feel the high. As a matter of fact, there are studies. There's something called functional MRI as well as PET scan that look at how the brain works during an orgasm, and it shows that the high is the same as the high that you get from heroin. Neither you and I tried heroin, but that's the same. But we had sex before and we had an orgasm before.
True. Not together.
You know,
we've not had sex together.
Not together. Not
Okay.
together. Let's I put a disclaimer right
Yes.
now. Never together. But
We have had sex.
But that feeling, that high, is the same high that you get from drugs. As a matter of fact, their satisfaction is the same as people get from anything that we call bad. We like gambling, for example.
Right.
You feel like when you
It's
gamble,
like an adrenaline rush.
It's an adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
Having sex is like, and you cannot control yourself. People that are on the roulette table or on the blackjack table, they cannot control themselves. Same here with sex. It's the same part of the brain that it's not in your control when you're having sex.
We need to harness that part of the brain, Doc. We need to do some more stuff with it.
That's an important part of the brain, and it's in the cortex, and it's the prefrontal cortex. That's the part of the brain that we are talking about. You know, just briefly, I mean, most people know that about stages of men and male as well as female orgasm.
No, tell them.
So
We wanna know the
absolutely. So
listeners.
for women, the first part is excitement. You have to get excited about things, and when you get excited, and the excitement obviously is not just touching that area. As a matter of fact, touching other parts, whether it's your nipple, whether it's whispering in the ear, whether it's touching your face, whether it's touching your forearm that has a lot of nerve sensation. You know, there are studies and there are people that can get an orgasm.
I want to
just
ask
from
you this question.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Go ahead.
You
Tell
know,
me.
so there are people that can have an orgasm without touching any part down south, just touching the ear or touching the nose or touching the eyebrow. As a matter of fact, there's a study about a person a female that has, you touch the eyebrow, you touch the hand. This part has a lot of good sensation. So the forearm.
And they have the exact same feeling.
exact
I
same-
spoke to somebody one time who could orgasm by touching the nipples.
Yes.
That's the same orgasm.
Yes, as a matter of fact, some people can meditate and achieve an orgasm just from meditation without touching anything.
I
just
thought
the
that was
thought.
bull.
No,
BS.
no, not at all. That's not BS at all. So you have that, and then you have a plateau in which you achieve the maximum.
Carol says the ear is a good one.
That's correct. The ear is the very, very famous one, is the ear. So, you know, you want to attract a woman, you just whisper a little bit in the ear and she gets excited about that. Same with men. I mean, my ears are extremely sensitive. So you have all these areas. So then you have plateau, you have the orgasm, and then you have, for men, you have a period that is refractory. For women, they don't have that refractory period. For men, the refractory period can last from 5, 6, 10 minutes to sometime, the older we get, the longer time it takes for us to achieve another ejaculation. Not achieve another erection, but achieve another ejaculation.
What about when you can't pee after?
Right, so it's very common. So it's very common for guys to have difficulty urinating at the beginning. So you have an erection still. When you are done with it, you still your penis is engorged still. It's quite difficult. Wait a minute or 2 or 3, things are going to settle down and you're good to go. And sometimes the pee is not going to be straight. It's going to start splitting to different places. So. Yeah. And it makes sense. I mean, you still have some seminal fluid inside there, and it's like a hose that you are going to press on the tip of the hose. You pinch it. What happens when you pinch the hose? It goes to the right. It goes to the left. Yeah. It doesn't go to the middle.
Right.
So you can. How you can prevent that issue? Sit down. But I know Captain Brian does not sit when he pees. Right, Captain Brian?
I'm in a rush, Doc.
No, you have to stand up because like a man. Yeah. So what happens? So during sleep. We all know that men during sleep, when we were young, when we were adolescent and just maturing up, we used to have what we call, wet spots.
You say a wet dream, right?
Wet dream. That's right. We used to have wet dreams. Unfortunately, we don't have those wet dreams anymore, right?
Do adults have those?
Some adults have the wet dreams.
Does that mean if you go a long time without sex, then it just
You know what? That's very interesting what you just said. A lot of people think that if you go a long time without sex, as a matter of fact, the opposite is true. It's counterintuitive. The more sex you have, the more you start thinking about sex.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's like practice. We talked about the basketball. The more you play basketball, the more you think about basketball, the better you become in basketball, the more you dream about basketball. Here, all these dreams that you have is because you have some fantasies. You have things you are looking forward. You're saying, wow, I had a great experience. That's amazing for me. The fact that if you don't have sex for a long time, you start forgetting about it.
You forget about it.
You say, I rather eat a burger, I eat a sandwich, I rather go to sleep,
You start binge watching Netflix.
So same thing with, when you read a book that is a little bit erotic, that's a little bit more descriptive. When you talk to girls, when you have all these ideas, they come out to fruition in your subconscious. When is your subconscious? At nighttime. At nighttime, many things. Your heart continue to beat, you continue to breathe, you have erection, during REM sleep. Women get their clitoris engorged during REM sleep. So how can you improve that? If you want to have more erection, from time to time, lie down on your stomach. I'm talking about women and men. Lie down on your stomach, have more pressure in that, penile or clitoris when you sleep. I'm not saying you should. It's good to sleep on your stomach. We had a podcast about sleep. But if your goal is to try to have more erection specifically, that's how you're going to get more excited at nighttime. But we're talking mainly about women because women wants to have a little bit more orgasm at nighttime.
Really?
Yes.
They tell you?
Women tell me all the time stuff like that. Captain Brian, I mean, we are very easy to talk to women.
I have the wrong job, Doc. I got the wrong job.
Again, Captain Brian, orgasm is a skill. And like any other skill, it takes time, patience, and practice to learn that skill. It's true. And for men, it's much easier. But for men also, sometimes you say, wow, that was amazing. Sometimes you say it was okay. But for women, you want to get to that level of amazing.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
So if a woman doesn't really understand her body and know how to have an orgasm,
yes,
there's toys out there that can.
Yes.
And that will help them?
Yes.
What about, does it hurt the orgasm during sex when it can't be that kind of stimulation?
So I'm not sure I follow your question.
So a toy versus a intercourse,
yes,
there's going to be a lot more stimulation with a toy.
Of course.
So does that then affect the non-toy play?
Not at all. I mean, one, when you're using toy, you're going to learn about. So I'm a true believer in masturbation. Masturbation teaches you how to use your body, where things are, what you like, what you don't like. And women need to educate men about what they like. Everyone is different. Some women like the right side of the clitoris. Some women like the left side of the clitoris. Some people like, vaginal. Everybody is different. So educate us, please, about what you like and what you don't like. Bring a toy to the game. Absolutely. After all, I mean, our tongue, our finger get tired. If you bring a toy, we expedite things. You are happy, we are happy. There's nothing wrong with that. We encourage that. And when you use the toy, you also learn about your body, what your body likes, and where are the muscles, where are the things that you want to use. So I would encourage people to use a vibrator, specifically women that have more difficulty to achieve an orgasm. There's a study that showed that women that use vibrator, they achieve orgasm much faster than women that don't use a vibrator.
During intercourse or with the vibrator?
Either one. So either by itself
with the toy. But
no, but during and without.
Okay.
So it's extremely easy and
Hi Mandy, hi Eugenia, how are you? Hey guys, thanks for watching. Dr. Daller's talking to us today here on the Captain's Log, and of course you can always download the episodes, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcast. Just search for my name, Brian Spina, or the Captain's Log, and you can download all the episodes and play them right on your own smart device at any time. Because that's the way it's all about.
Another thing that we do in this podcast, educate yourself.
Mandy says you need the right person who you can share the chemistry with, as well as being in love and comfortable with that person. This is true. That helps as well.
Absolutely. We talked about this on this podcast. Chemistry is extremely important. And you need to have somebody that you connect with. Extremely important. I mean, again, you want to share that stuff. I mean, a guy that doesn't understand that, it doesn't understand, how important intimacy is, it's going to be, you may not be able to connect with him. So educate yourself. Listen to this podcast. Listen to this kind of podcast. Read books about that. Read different magazines. Even a magazine like Cosmopolitan.
Yeah, they get into it.
They get into it. Absolutely. Sure. I read those sometimes. I have them at home and I read them and I say, you know what? That's a really good magazine. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, the articles are
good articles. Right. That's why you used to read Playboy for that. Remember those days for the jokes?
Back in the day.
For the jokes. Remember the Playboy jokes?
Yeah.
They don't make Playboy anymore, right? There's
I don't know.
I
haven't seen one in years.
Me too. It became too soft porn for us.
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
way too soft.
Everything went to the internet.
Right. Everything. Nobody buy a magazine anymore. But Cosmo, things like that, they do a very good job. And again, positive reassurance all the time. Captain Brian, anything else you want to cover today?
I don't know.
We talked about
I
MRI.
want to tell everyone thank you for sending in. We don't ever mention who does send us some of these questions.
Ever.
But it's also the basis of how we start each show and how we do the research. When you get I don't usually answer them. I just fire them off at you.
Right.
And then you take it from there, and then you do the research, and then you bring me the information. That way it makes a good conversation, because I don't know everything, and I like to learn every time. And that's how, when we get these questions and these people follow us and they want to DM us or send us emails, you're welcome to do so. You can always find Dr. Daller at, what's your IG, Doc?
First of all, Daller at teamdaller.com. That's my email, email address.
At Revitalized Lounge.
Daller MD. It's Instagram, Facebook, me, Mayor Daller. Follow us. This podcast is key. That's the key.
Yeah.
Please, I know some of the things you think, well, it's a taboo, but please share those ideas. Let's break the taboos. We are here to, educate people and break the taboos that male sexuality is important, female sexuality is important. We started breaking those barriers with the birth control pills. Before Captain Brian, before the birth control pills, women were like a property for men, because they got pregnant right away and that's it, you own them. But now they can enjoy life, they can have sex, they can really have experiences that this had really, the last 60 years had changed a lot in female sexuality. We learned a lot. We have new pills, we have new medication, we talk about it. Before, it used to be a taboo, and we love, Captain Brian and I, we love to break those barriers.
Rather than 60 years ago.
Oh, by far.
Yeah, it's much better.
Much better. Much better.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything you're doing.
We'll be back again on Tuesday with Dr. Daller. Thanks for watching, guys. The Captain's Log's out. Oh, we got a great show. Alex Yu tomorrow morning, guys. Tune in live.